One of the most persistent advocacy of Jordan Peterson's philosophy is do not lie. Always tell the truth. Always present the truth as you know it. As it was quoted in one of his lectures, whatever happens as a consequence of telling the truth is the best thing that can happen. It is also written in his 12 Rules of Life. I have it on my wall, matter of fact. Here, you know what? I should show you. Anyway, so he says, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. And in one of the interviews he did, I think was that the one with the not the one with Kathy Newman, I think the other one, the infamous Jordan Peterson destroys feminist interviewer. Basically he was asked, do you lie? Because in the 12 rules of life, you said do not lie. Always tell the truth, or at least do not lie. He says everybody lies, man. And then somewhere he also, I think in the same interview, he was asked quick questions, and one of them was, who do you want to be, aspire to be? And he said someone who tell the truth. And well, here's my realization with it, because as someone who has a tough time dealing with their parents and always throughout growing up lied to evade consequences of my actions, in some way, shape, or form, I realized that most of our sufferings, and I mean the self-inflicted sufferings, are because of our lies, or because of the fact that we do not tell the truth. And in the result of that, we do not really understand where you come from, because when you lie, you subconsciously convince yourself of what you say to be the new reality. Now, that's exactly where Jordan Peterson draws the line and say why lying is fundamentally bad and maybe evil, is that if you necessarily say that the truth is not the truth, it's whatever this I convince you to be, well, who the hell are you to have the authority to change that? Who are you to determine, well, the truth is not what the truth is, instead what I think, or what the way I want it to be. Thus, I do not have to face the real consequence of the truth. But the philosophical points aside, and in application, I believe the real application and concern of that is when you do not tell the truth, you deceive yourself and deceive the consequence of your words. And in that sense, when you carried out those actions and lie to others and yourself, what you're doing is that you're taking on something that you did not know that is. So if you lie to your romantic partner about something, I shouldn't have done that. I need to wash my hands. Of something that you've done previously, or you lied about your intentions, then what happens is that some way, shape, or form, people are going to believe you somewhere down the line, including yourself. Because, well, people lie because it works half of the time or more. And the problem is you're pretending to be someone you're not. You become an actor, a mere clown that is portraying a drama that does not belong to you and isn't the reality and what you believe. Therefore, the result of that, it will not be a structural presentation and development of your actual life. You'll be instead what you want things to be, but never has been. And the consequence of that eventually will become everybody thought you're who you are, but you don't want that, and that just being ridiculously dreadful to even to you, because that's not who you are. You're not that person they think you are, or you're not even that person you think you are. And you'll get yourself in the situation where you realize that you're in the position that you never wanted to be in, or let's say you never truly wanted to be in. You just convinced yourself or lied to yourself enough to think that you do. And in the result of that, eventually, get yourself in a lot of trouble that you eventually don't want to deal with. And that's all because you lied. On the other hand, if you didn't lie, sure, you may not have the chance to get to the initial situation that you desired yourself to be in. You may have missed out on several of these things, but at least you deserve it. And that's the problem with lying, is that you deserve the consequence of your action, and you cannot evade it forever. And as long as you embrace it as some way, shape, or form at some time, this is a good angle, you will be able to establish a fair foundation of your future. AKA, you won't get into the situations where you finally achieve what you thought you always wanted to achieve, but then you realize, no, I didn't want these things because it's not me that wanted it. It's me who lied. And that's not me. It doesn't represent what I believe at all, because that's what a lie is. So maybe one day we realize we should tell the truth, and even if the consequence is bad, then at least to the very bottom, either I deserve it, the consequence of my actions, or if there is some grace behind that, that's a foundation of what I can work on, because I first acknowledge my problem, which is the first step of anything. The first step of solving problem is really acknowledging what the hell the problem is. And second, you can become that. Instead of lie your way into it, you can become that you want to become, or you can become that who would get the things that you want. And maybe that's how we go about it. Because lying is this shortcut we think we can take, but we really can't, because it's not the actual step that we made. We just manipulated reality to seem like we pulled that thing closer to us. And of course, yeah, lying somewhat is a result of being lazy, or a or a symptom of being lazy. But I don't want to throw that word out there just because it's more in the sense that you're afraid of the consequences instead of facing it. And it's a valid fear until you realize what you fear will snowball effect and become what you eventually dread whatsoever. So deal with it at its root before the success of such consequences. I'm baking some chicken thighs, by the way, into the oven. 400 Fahrenheit. I warm it up to 450, drop it to 425, because I think my old, like these little individual style cookers is not that accurate. And yes, I need to clean the stovetop and my dishes. But yeah, I hope that was a inspiring thought. I hope that was a talk that I did not repeat myself or go on a tangent too much. Yeah, if you want more, look up Jordan Peterson, Why Lying is Unbelievably Dangerous. And yeah, he has a great take on lying just in general. Been thinking a lot, man. I've been thinking a lot, and I think this is helping me to some extent. I mean, sometimes I worry I'm not going to remember this, so why bother even thinking about this? But I hope it's going to shape my character and build me into the one Christ made me to be.